intending to either audio or video record this open session is required to inform the chair. I'm Pam Howell. I am vice chair, and Sharon, who is remote, cannot chair tonight, so I'll be chairing in her place, but she participates in everything. And
Open with a roll call vote. Roll call vote.
yeah. So I need to have everyone say their name and say that they are here.
Rondo Gallo here.
Van Antone here, present.
Kevin Dupont, here.
Is Sharon?
Sharon Fleer.
Okay. And we're going to come back. First of all, is there any public comments for other than what's on the agenda? All righty, we're going to skip the meetings of the minutes of the previous meeting and the work session. So we will go to old unfinished. No, we're going to go to.
You can go whatever order you want.
No, we're going to go to the new business, E. If you can read, please.
Let me just make sure before we open it, is someone here for 126 Route 28? Are you here? Okay. And is your whole party here?
It's just me.
Just you? Okay.
Actually, Mr. Polini, I believe, is attending by video.
Anyone who, I forgot to say, anyone who is in this room, please sign in with your full name. Okay, sorry.
Show cause hearing.
What do you need, honey?
126. Route 28. Owner was requested to appeal notice of violation issued on August 31st, 2022 regarding septic system failure.
Would you like me to come to the table or here?
Yes, please.
Madam Chair, may I just briefly ask counsel a question? You said that Mr. Paulini does he want to be here while you're presenting this case?
I've been informed that he was going to attend by video.
Do you think he's caller one? What I'm asking, is that gonna be an issue?
I don't believe it's an issue.
Okay.
Okay. I open the hearing.
Good evening. My name is John Huxham. I represent Chase Escape Cape Cod LLC, doing business as Summer House Cafe. I'm here tonight for this public hearing, which concerns an appeal of the notice of violation that the board issued to the property owner, Irish Pub Trust, on August 31st, 2022. And the notice orders the trust to engage a professional engineer to design a new septic system in accordance with Title V and Harwich Board of Health regulations. Said system is to be approved and installed within 45 days of receipt of this notice. So Chase is the lessee of the property, not the owner. There's been no transfer of title to the property, and there's been no change in use of the property, and no alteration of the property, only emergency repairs and routine repairs, which I'll describe a little bit more in just in a minute or two. Our position is that there's no factual or legal basis for requiring an upgrade of the current septic system that served the property within 45 days of the date of the notice. However, even though that's our position that it is not required, Chase would like to reach an agreement with the board for a schedule for upgrade of the system. However, while Chase has the opportunity to open and operate with just a limited food service using the current septic system. As probably a lot of you know better than I, The property has operated as a bar with limited food service for many years. In early January of 2021, there was a failure of the fire sprinkler system at the property. It took over an hour for the water to be shut off at the street, so there was a lot of flooding inside the property, which required a lot of repair. Chase did a lot of that repair, taking down collapsing ceiling materials, removing soaked molding rugs, things like that. In April and May of 2021, Chase put up some new ceilings and performed electrical repair work. They did some other repairs at the property, and this was all related to that, to the flooding from the fire sprinkler system, or just routine minor repairs that were necessary. There's some very minor work that remains to be done that does not require a building permit. So, as I mentioned, our position is that the Title V regulations do not require that a new septic system be installed under these circumstances, certainly not within 45 days of the notice of violation. We have submitted a memorandum, which I hope you've had an opportunity to look at. We've cited the Title V regulations, 310 CMR 153031 and 153051, which indicate that the owner or operator of a failing septic system has 2 years to upgrade a system after it's discovered to be failing if there's no imminent health hazard that exists. Also, Section 153051B of the Title V regulations allows the local approving authority to permit the continued use of a system in accordance with the provisions of an enforceable schedule for upgrade. And again, that's what Chase would like to reach agreement with the board to do. The notice of violation doesn't state when the discovery of the septic system. I think the regulations really mean discovery that a system is failing. But as I understand it, the notice says that it's failing because of the nature of the system, because it's a cesspool. So it's unclear what, how that discovery would be interpreted in the Title V regulations. But the notice also does not state that there's any imminent health hazard at the property as a result of the existing system. Again, Section 153051 indicates that the owner or operator of a failing septic system has up to 2 years to upgrade the system where no imminent health hazard exists. And Section 153051 also authorizes the Board of Health to permit a septic system to continue to operate and to approve a schedule for upgrade of the system. That's really what Chase is asking for here, is to reach some sort of agreement with the board for the upgrade of the system. However, Chase would like to be able to, using the existing system, open and operate without any change of use as a bar with limited food service, and then have an opportunity at some point, at an agreed upon point in time, to do the upgrade of the system. We've noted in our memorandum that there hasn't been any enlargement or renovation, demolition, or reconfiguration of the existing space. We really just see it as doing what's been done there before, and just with the repairs related to the breakdown of the sprinkler system. So really, we'd like to cooperate with the board and reach an agreement, but Chase really would like to be able to, operate with what it sees as no change in use, a bar with limited food service, and then have an agreed upon period of time to upgrade the system.
Okay.
Thank you for listening.
Any comments from the public? Okay, recommendations from the, Katie?
So I recommend that the Board of Health uphold the order to upgrade the system as provided August 31st, 2022 notice of violation. I provided some suggested motions in option number 3, and I'm happy to comment on any of the topics that were just brought up if the board has further questions on those.
Okay, discussion with the board. Whoever speaks, please state your name, and for the record.
Kevin Dupont. I understand that you're using the date of August 31st, but, looking at this, it does look like Mr. Polini was well aware of this before July 19th, or at least on July 19th, per the notation here. That accurate, or are you saying that he wasn't aware this was going to happen at all until after August 29th, when he told us he wanted to open? So as far as I can see, he was aware that this needed to be addressed back in July.
I'm here. I'm Mr. Paulini. I just walked in.
Hello, sir.
Any
Sorry, I
questions?
didn't realize you were actually here.
Answered, I'm here.
Okay.
I didn't hear that.
Is it accurate that you were aware of the need to change this septic system back in July, not in August?
So could you please either go to the podium or you can sit up here?
You're asking me if I was aware in July?
Yup. That's exactly what I'm asking.
No.
A simple yes or no.
No, we were told that the septic system was conformed, that we could use the same septic system as the previous owners. We have that communication from the health department back in 2021.
That's incorrect. And if you look at all the included email correspondences with Mr. Polini, we told him that that was not the case. We allowed in 2021, he told us that it was gonna be open for 2 months and the system would be installed in September of 2021. That was the original discussion that we had. We should never have given an inch, clearly, that was not an option.
Yeah.
But after that time, we've been very clear with memos, with emails, that the system had to be upgraded prior to any opening.
That is an absolute falsehood, and you know that.
I
I
included
never
the email.
said anywhere.
I'm not gonna fight with you on
I'm not
this.
gonna fight with you, but I can speak. I never said to you we'd be open 2 months. You have our business plan. We said we plan to operate at least a year as the previous Irish pub had. And that in the interim, we were gonna look into and contract with an engineer to put a new septic system. We knew we needed a new septic system, and we put that in our long-range plan, saying that in a year or so, we wanted to make it a full-service restaurant. And they did tell us that, you need, to do that, you'd need to upgrade the septic system. But at the time, we said we were gonna operate for at least a year, the way the old Irish pub did. Never was 2 months. Show me something that says 2 months.
That was the
There's
discussion.
nothing that said 2 months, no. You sent me a letter you sent me an email I believe it was after I met with the health department, saying that you were okay with everything that we planned to do. I submitted a menu, you approved all that. Why would we be open for 2 months? Why would we open in May and close in July, in the middle of the summer season? Why would anybody who's going into business make such a statement? Because you made a statement just now that's not true.
You had absolutely told us that you were going.
Absolutely
back
not.
in 2021.
Show me where I said that.
You stated it.
No, you know there's a
Regardless.
concerted effort here for
Sir,
us not to
sir.
open, and she's lying.
Sir,
Yes, ma'am.
you don't talk like that
No, I'm just
to the
telling you
director.
what,
Well,
they're making this
have
up, and
letters
and I'm
here.
upset about that.
and
I
I
never
think
said-
you don't have the right to say that the director's lying,
Well, then
because
she.
I don't think she is. I don't think any of us
Oh,
feel
okay,
she
you've
is.
already made up your mind then.
With that statement, yes.
Oh, okay, then let her show some proof that I said 2 months. Let me, just answer me this one question. Why would I say, we would open in May and close in June? Have 2 months
Well, that really
open?
isn't the issue here.
Yes, it is the issue.
No, the issue is.
one of the
you
issues.
opening now with a failed
What?
Cesspool system.
The issue is what? I'm sorry, I'm a little late, so I guess I'm behind on where you are. I apologize. The issue is what, ma'am? I'm sorry.
The cesspool has failed.
How did it feel? We haven't opened.
Cesspools are failing.
So if I could just ask a question, kind of going back to the Title V regs. The section that the board cited refers to cesspools being failing systems, and that they should be upgraded by April of 2005. That's a little over 17 years ago. So if it's true, which I believe that it is, that there's been no transfer of title, there's been no expansion or anything of this place, that there's gonna be no change in use, then what is the rationale here for requiring something else from what the system is there now? I mean, it's been there for 17 years. So what has changed? We would say nothing has changed, but we really would like to, cooperate with the board and upgrade the system within a reasonable amount of time. All we're really asking is that we have a chance to operate for a bit longer with the existing system, which has been used for 17 years, past the deadline that's in the regulation. It seems like a reasonable position.
I have a document here that was approved in June of 2020 for the Irish pub to open with the exact same system that exists now. Right here. But I don't see the document that said, or anything, any email that I sent the health department that said, we only want it open for 2 months. And you know why? Because none exists. But so, and we're not open now, so how do we know that the system has failed? It hasn't operated for 2 years. We've made some improvements, we put in some waterless urinals and stuff, but we haven't used the system, so how can it fail? Nothing can fail until
Director,
it's,
could you answer that question?
So Cape Cod as a whole is under order from the DEP as of this year to take extreme environmental concern across the Cape to protect our groundwater. We've taken a deep dive in identifying properties and making sure that they're brought up to compliance. That's number one. That's the biggest change.
and
that-
ours is one of the properties you took the deep dive on?
I'm still finishing.
Oh, okay, I'm
Speak.
just asking a question.
Please.
Okay, sorry.
Any property that's not in compliance, we're working on bringing into compliance as the DEP order to protect our groundwater. That's number one. Number two, our building commissioner stated that this property would need a certificate of occupancy in order to reopen. In order to reopen, we have to have a compliant septic system, not cesspools. So those are the two items there that have changed, to answer your question.
Okay. I mean, on the DEP portion, there was some indication that the board had said that there was some order from DEP that prohibited use of cesspools. And I spoke
On
to,
environmentally sensitive properties, QR.
yeah, I mean, I spoke to the head of the DEP Southeast Region, and who told me there wasn't any order like that. And I could give you the date and the time and all of that from when I spoke to her.
It's a him, so his name is Drew.
I can give you all the documentation of that.
I also reached out to him regarding this property because I wanted to make sure I was making the right decision, and he assured me that this property needed to come into compliance.
Well, I will tell you that I am not making that up.
Okay.
We're not saying you are, but the water's right there.
I've been to the property.
So last year you didn't check on that? 2021?
The Cape was, excuse me, recently put under order by the DEP.
Oh. Just recently, okay. We have this.
You did ask what was changed, so she answered,
I see.
okay?
And you know why it changed? Or why it changed in their minds? Because
It
we're there.
didn't change in our minds.
Either.
This change came down from the state, sir. And,
This would make
and I
any-
would agree that that property is extremely environmentally sensitive. I mean, we all know where it is. It's right on the river. It's protected wetlands. It's
No,
marshland right there.
I told you that we were gonna upgrade the system. We had plans in our business plan. We agreed to that. I mean, there was no,
That needs to be
No.
done before you open.
and that takes about 6 to 8 months to get approvals for that. And you sent us a letter saying in 45 days,
And I
we had
think
to upgrade it.
that conversation should absolutely happen tonight. I think that timeframe can
Oh, I
be
missed
pushed
that?
out.
I'm sorry?
I think that timeframe can absolutely be pushed out because you're gonna have
Yeah,
to come
oh,
back to the
okay,
boards.
I
I
was-
don't think the 45 days is reasonable.
Any other comments from members of the board? State your name, yep.
How much time are you guys looking for?
I'm sorry, how much?
Time are you guys looking for?
So just so I understand, do you mean under what we are proposing?
How much time are you guys looking for? You have some sort of ballpark time, right?
To fix the system?
To upgrade the system, yeah. Yeah, well, we're probably looking at, going back to our original request was, and it was approved, and I know you said things changed, but it was to operate about a year, and then to start, we had already, a year ago, had contracted with Mike O'Kane from Cape Cod Engineering, and he did a preliminary drawing and showed us what a septic system would be, an above-ground system, way over in the front left corner, had to be a certain number of feet from the water and everything. So we said we wanted to operate for about a year under the same guidance and operation as the Irish pub had for 30-something years. And then we would upgrade the system over the course of the first year after we were open. So we had planned on doing it after a year or so. So we're looking at, operating for a year, and then over that winter, when we're closed, to upgrade the system, because, if we close for the winter, like a lot of restaurants do, then we would have sufficient time to apply and go through all of the approval boards to upgrade the system, get it approved and put it in. I guess the installation only takes a few weeks, but the approvals take, I guess, 6 to 8 months if I'm not, on average. So if we, say, closed in the end of a season, November, then we would apply during that season and upgrade it over the course of the winter. That's what we had originally proposed and had planned to do.
So,
Talk to the landlord
just-
about that as well.
to point out,
Yeah.
you told us you weren't gonna be open for 2 months and then close, but you just said you wanted to open now and then close again in November.
No,
You're,
I'm going, no, don't.
you did.
Don't twist my words.
All right,
I
then explain to me what you just said, because you were talking
I
about
said
closing
that
in November.
I said
to
in
do-
our original plan, which was, I'm going back a year now.
Let's talk about now. You
But
said
that's-
we were informed that you wanted to open
No,
the following week.
Well, excuse me,
I-
I'm sorry.
I
didn't
have
mean to
a,
interrupt you, go ahead.
I have a notation here. It says on August 29th, 2022, you visited the town administrator's office and informed us that you wanted to open the following weekend.
Absolutely false. That is not true. I went in and spoke to Danielle Delaney about getting a copy of our liquor license that was supposedly mailed to us that we never received, okay? Then I had received it, but it wasn't the original. She explained to me that that one would suffice, so I said, okay. And she said, what are you planning on doing with it? I said, well, we're gonna need it when we open. That's what I said. I never said anything. The next day, I get a thing from the town saying, we're gonna open on September 3rd. Another falsehood. Nobody ever used that. Nobody ever said that. Nobody ever said anything about opening on September 3rd. We're not that dumb. How could we open? We would be in violation of every possible, I mean, how could you open? We weren't ready to open. We didn't have anything in place.
So when are you trying to open then?
When are we trying to? As soon as possible. We wanted to open because the other aspect of this whole thing that, hasn't been brought up, that's very important, is that we're under the gun as far as our liquor license goes. The select board has begun revocation of our liquor license, which takes,
That's not on the agenda this evening, it's just the septic system.
no, but it's pertinent, he asked me a question. So if we don't open by October, well, I can't say what's gonna happen on October 11th, but they are within their rights on October 11th, or at least they can vote on it, to revoke our liquor license, because we did not open. We haven't opened, and so if you have a liquor license and you don't open, you know, you could be in violation of not exercising that license. So that's why we wanted to get open, to at least exercise that license, so that, and then we would probably close within a few weeks, but at least we would exercise the license, so it wouldn't be revoked, and then we can, you know, start with, for next year. If you understand, if I didn't confuse
So
you more.
it sounds to me
Yep.
like what you're telling me is you're looking to open for a couple of weeks.
No, not necessarily a couple of weeks. For a few
What you
weeks.
just said.
For a few weeks.
Okay, a few weeks
Till the end
instead
of
of
the
a
season,
couple,
I
3
guess,
weeks,
you know.
right.
If you
So-
say a couple of months, I mean, it's already the end of September, well, middle of September. So even if we open sometime in October, you know, we'd probably stay open till the holidays, something like that.
So
Now, this is not prime season, obviously. It's certainly not gonna be,
It seems like the push then to open right now is that you don't want to have to renew or reapply for this liquor license.
well, we wanna keep the liquor license valid. I mean, it's been there for 50-something years. We gotta transfer a liquor license. If you get a revocation of a liquor license, it's not easy. It's not just a matter of just reapplying and get it reinstated. It's not that simple, quite honestly, you know, I mean, when your liquor license is revoked, you know, it's a serious matter. And, you know, we've put a lot of money into that building. That building has really been upgraded. You know, that building was a real hazard.
I think we should get back on track for
Okay.
the reason we're here.
I think Sharon's trying to talk.
Ooh, oh.
Go ahead.
Hi, this is Sharon Flieger. I'm online. I have some questions, and some of this maybe Katie will need to answer. First of all, I understand that you're transferring the liquor license, and I guess one of my questions is, which I'm ignorant on this, I'll admit it, is must you open in order to maintain that liquor license when it's transferred?
I'm gonna defer to Jeff if that's okay. I mean, the liquor license isn't our purview, so I don't think we should even be focusing on that personally.
Okay,
but I'll
my
defer to
thought was,
Attorney
what he
Blake.
was saying was that he needed to get open to keep the liquor license going. And my question was, is that a valid reason for keeping the place open, to keep the liquor license open? When could he close that, keep the liquor license going, and in the meantime, get started with getting this septic system started? And then my second question is, what is in place right now, or what is the time frame for getting the septic system? I haven't heard any dates or that any contracts have been signed, and it seems like you have been aware that it is needed. So what has been done up till now to see that that's moving along?
Me? You're asking us?
Yes.
Sorry. Well, what we've done is, we have a preliminary drawing of the septic. We were under the impression that we were gonna open this year, all along, and that after the end of this year, we would then start the process of putting in a new septic system. As far as a date, there's no real date you can give, other than, as I said earlier, and I think the health department would agree, that it probably takes 6 months or so to get the approvals in place.
Do you
Yeah,
have any type of a contract or agreement with the company that is going to be doing the septic system?
We have a verbal understanding that they will be doing that. We don't have a written contract, but they did the preliminary drawings and the engineering, and when the time comes, we will use them, yes. It's Cape Cod Engineering at this point. Cape Cod Septic, I'm sorry.
Okay, and then, all right, and then I guess I know Katie says about the liquor license, so what I'm saying
Well-
is, if you've got something in place to get the septic system in, and it's, like you said, preliminary, you don't have a contract, but you talk to the people, supposedly have some sort of a design, and you keep mentioning that it's imperative to open between now and the end of the year in order to maintain a liquor license, and that doesn't seem like it's a valid reason to open.
Well, we think it is. I mean, you know, we've put a lot of money and improvements into the building, and we think it's a very valid reason. But it's not up to this board or up to us.
But
It's-
there's a difference there. All right, when I say valid, the way you word it, you make it sound as though if you don't open, you will lose your liquor license. That's what you're implying, that we have to stay open in order to, or get open in order to maintain that liquor license. And that was my question. The fact that it's going to be transferred, why would you need to open to keep it valid?
Well, the liquor license had already been transferred. It was transferred, we already have a valid license. It was transferred a year and a half ago. But it's not
Okay,
up.
then you don't need to open to maintain that liquor license.
Yes, we do, because the select board, not this board, it doesn't have anything to do with this board really right now, but the select board has already begun the revocation process in April of this year. And so the process takes about 6 months to complete. We've been through 2 hearings. There's one hearing left October 11th, I believe, at which they will decide whether to revoke our license or not. But they've already indicated that that's what they're aiming to do, so.
And what is their reason for wanting to revoke it?
Because we haven't opened yet. It's like the chicken or the egg, you know, we can't open because of this, but if you have a liquor license, there's no such, you're supposed to exercise the liquor license. You're supposed to be able to, if you get a liquor license, you have to have a place to have the liquor license for. So where we haven't opened, we haven't exercised that liquor license. So that's why they've taken up the revoking our license at this point. With COVID and everything in the last couple of years, there right now are over 70 businesses that have liquor licenses that were not able to open during COVID. So there was kind of a special, I guess, dispensation or look the other way type thing because of COVID. But now where that's over, I guess maybe that's what they're looking to do. Obviously, we don't want that to happen, so that's why. But again, it doesn't pertain to this board, that part. But we do already have a license. We're not looking to transfer it.
May I
Sure.
read something that was in our packet? It says on April 5th, 2022, Health Director O'Neill provided the Board of Selectmen with a memo regarding the Summer House Cafe. She stated the septic system must be upgraded prior to any change in the use of the food permit or issuing a building permit. If at any time the cesspools become a public health hazard, they must be upgraded immediately.
Right, that was right before our meeting for April 11th. The select board had asked for a report from each department, health, building, and fire. Right. Okay. And we maintained that it didn't. That's why we're here. That's our appeal. We maintained that it doesn't need an upgrade because of the fact that the previous 38 years it was run like that, and that we weren't going to do anything different. And,
Except
you
the
know,
regulations have changed, or is it the regulation?
The order,
Yeah.
so the regulation maintains the same. This should have been upgraded by 2005. But the Cape has been placed under order to improve our water quality, drinking water, across the Cape. As well as because the building had not been occupied, it does need a new occupancy permit, which can only be signed by the health department and be considered valid until the new septic system has been put in.
I don't believe that Title V or the board's regulations require an upgrade of the system at this time. That seems to be, with all due respect, a little bit of circular logic. You need the certificate of occupancy, so you need the septic permit. It doesn't say anything, I don't believe, in Title V or the board's regulations about that. If there had been some expansion or major
But this is from the state. This is a
well,
new
again,
condition.
I'm gonna provide you with that information because I specifically investigated that, the statement that the Cape was under an order that there can't be any more cesspools. And I understand the whole nitrogen reduction effort across the Cape and all the wonderful efforts that have occurred. But what I was informed was that there is no such order banning cesspools on the Cape. And I would like an opportunity to provide my backup for that to the board.
Okay.
But again, to try to return this to a more positive track, I understand there's been some acrimonious back and forth here. But I think what we're asking for is really reasonable. We've cited authority for it in the Title V regulations specifically. There's been no imminent health hazard from this system that's been cited by the board. So the Title V regulations say up to 2 years.
Well, I
No?
think we need to you can find whatever information you got from the state, and I think the director will.
I have an email right here.
Oh, okay.
And so Drew Osai is the replacement for Brian Dudley, who many of you know, states in the email, with the location of the system, the Board of Health not only has the authority to have it upgraded to meet Title V, but it also has the authority to require the system that would offer more nutrient removal to protect the environment. This speaks to this specific circumstance.
Is there any legal authority cited for that? It says the board has the authority. What's the source of the authority?
So he also quoted 153033, which I had provided in the violation letter with the cesspools after 2005, as well as 3015. And this also, just as a heads up to you guys, if you are proposing the 375 seats, which have been approved in the past.
I'm sorry, 375 what?
Seats in the restaurant,
No, not seats, no.
how many are you?
375 occupancy, 162 seats.
162 seats,
Yeah.
okay. Because you do need to be careful on this property that you're not triggering a groundwater discharge permit, which would take even longer. And that's
Okay.
if you go over 10,000.
So that changed too from last year?
No, that's the same, but
Well,
just if you're
it was approved for
expanding.
162 and
So
375.
it's to
We
give you
weren't-
a
we
heads
weren't-
up if you are expanding. to
No,
not-
no, we're not expanding, we
not
haven't,
to
we
go over the
haven't, we
10,000
haven't expanded
gallons.
anything. But let me ask one question. Why did you choose to violate us now, and why would you have violated us last winter or last spring? Why didn't you send a violation then? If that law changed, why wouldn't we get the violation then? Why do we get it now when we're 2 weeks before our meeting?
Well, a year ago, if you're asking me,
No, not even a year ago, earlier this year.
we were still in the midst of COVID. We were severely understaffed. There
No,
was
no, no,
literally
no.
the two
No,
of
earlier
us.
this year, not last year. I'm saying like, say, in the spring. of
Sounds
this
like you were aware about it in April, though.
No, no, we weren't in violation. This is a whole different, we're here because of the violation. She violated us. We never opened, it's a violation. And again, is that the same as a failed system, a violation?
A cesspool is considered a failed system.
Okay. And are there other restaurants in town operating right now with failed systems?
Not on cesspools or failed systems, no.
Are there other restaurants in town operating under failed systems right now?
No.
Okay, I will talk to you about that.
If you know of
Sure.
them, please let us know.
There's 3 of them.
Okay,
But that's
let me know,
not, that
because
has
we're
nothing to
happy
do with
to-
us, right? I don't want to bring that up, but I'm just saying, my whole thing was, I don't know why we didn't get violated. All of a sudden, I send a letter to the building department asking for a denial, a reason for the denial of our building permits, and the next day, town manager, select board, health department and building department all send me these threatening letters, and you violate me. Why didn't you violate us a year ago, 6 months ago, 5 months ago? Why did you choose now, 2 weeks before our October 11th meeting? That just seems unfair. If you could have violated us in April or May, maybe, we could be somewhere now, further along, and
If I could just add also, I mean, as I mentioned before, the part of the Title V regulations that the board has cited refers to April of 2005. And we have said to you, and I haven't heard anything really contradicting what we've said, there's been no transfer of title. There's no,
That
there's
doesn't matter.
no, well, a transfer of title would require an inspection of the
Right.
system. That's clear, as you guys know.
Mm-hmm.
No transfer of title, no change in use proposed. No renovation or expansion that the board's regulations refer to. So the question arises, then what's different? What has
I
changed?
think we've said that with the state.
Not, well, that's,
Yeah, but
right, but,
So we're going in
but I'm gonna
circles
provide.
here, I think, so if we want to continue this, so that you can prove that the state,
Provide the
mandate is
information about
not-
my communication with.
right, and,
the Southeast region.
then we can continue this, because we're just,
And regardless, the Board of Health does have the provision to require a Title V inspection. Cesspools are automatic failure. The board does have that right to go that route as well.
So under the Title V regulations, if that occurred, we go into the sections that we've cited, which says we have 2 years to
but you can't open.
cure.
yeah, you keep running a business.
And in Harwich, they have a local regulation on non-standard systems.
I'm going to ask the board what they would like to do. One at a time, please state your name.
Kevin Dupont. You know, given the fact that you are looking for an occupancy permit, which triggers the Title V inspection, that, I mean, from your own words, because you talked about the selectmen's meeting back in April, that they were notified before that, so you did know back in April that it needed to be upgraded. I would be, as we had discussed earlier, willing to extend the 45 days out a little bit, but I would think that this needs to be done before you open.
going back to April, I contested that. When they brought that up at the board, the next day, I emailed the select board, because one of the board members, one of the board members stated that. And that's when we first questioned it, in April.
Okay, this is our decision now, not,
No, I understand, I was just answering this question. I understand, yeah.
okay.
So you
Okay,
were
go
aware
ahead.
in April. So there was plenty of time to get something going, and nothing was done. I would be willing to discuss an extension of the 45 days, but I would not be willing to discuss having you open before the septic system is redone.
That answer him? I think that, looking at the case here, it's very clear that you have a business right next to a protected area, river, you wanna do what you can to keep the environment,
Oh, yeah,
you know, protected for us, right?
yes, we're not, yeah. We certainly want that to be a beautiful property and to
Move your
be,
mic up, Matt. I don't think they can hear you online. Thank you.
So, do you have a goal of fixing the septic system? Because if you don't, I would move to deny your appeal. If it's not number one priority.
We've said that we want to reach agreement with
Oh,
the
yeah.
board to upgrade the system within an agreed-upon schedule of time.
is it okay to say something? Or Can I, yes. Yeah, we didn't go in there we have a long-term lease, we didn't go in there to open up another Irish pub and just change the name. That wasn't our long-term goal at all. And like I said earlier, we knew that eventually, we just thought that we would be able to operate for a year, get some cash flow, we put a lot of money into it, and then upgrade the system, as, kind of a give and take with the town and whatever. But we didn't go in there to continue another 30 years of that. We wanted to we're gonna upgrade the property, we wanna go eventually to add a deck there overlooking the water. We wanna put a full-service restaurant in there, brand-new kitchen. We wanna utilize the back area, there's a lot of space out back. We wanted to make it a real family
Okay,
area.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I guess I'll move to, continuance. For that.
Rondo Gallo, you're in it for the long haul, is that right?
Oh, yeah, we've got a long-term lease, 20 years.
So what's the difference then if you just do the system? And what's the point of trying to open up for a couple of weeks?
No, the only point is getting back to the liquor license, because we weren't,
Is your liquor license being threatened right now?
yes, it's being revoked. It's gonna be revoked in October 11th. Well, I can't predict what the board will do, but there's a very strong possibility it'll be revoked, because they've started a revocation process in April of this year, in the last,
Why was that?
because we haven't opened. So it's like chicken or the egg thing. We haven't opened, because when you have a liquor license, you can't have a liquor license without, exercising it. You can't just go around with a liquor license. There's no such thing as a pocket liquor license, unless you're a whatever. But, so they approved our license for that building, and so we did not open. So they started the process of revocation, because they just can't be giving out liquor. There might be someone else who wants a liquor license, I don't know, but they just can't give out liquor licenses and, have that entity not exercise it. So that's why they've begun the process, and they've had two meetings on that. It takes 3, and the last meeting is October 11th, as I said, at which time we feel strongly that they'll
Weren't you
vote.
aware of this when the liquor license was transferred?
No, the liquor license was transferred a year and a half ago.
Weren't you
So none
aware
of this
that-
was, we weren't,
Aware of the situations coming up? That there was certain compliance that you have to make?
I'm not sure I understand. Well,
In other words, when you take a liquor license,
yeah, we had planned to open last year, right. We took a liquor license like anywhere else would, and we planned to open in 2021.
but weren't you aware of what
No.
As far as I can see, in April 5th, 21, you got an email,
22, you mean, or?
yeah, you've got an email about this, April 5th,
About the septic?
yes.
Right, yeah.
Well, that was what, 4 months ago, 5 months ago?
Right, right, but we contested that, that's what I'm saying. We had, less than a year before that, 8 months before that, we had gotten an email that we were okay to open, that we were approved to open by the health department, that the menu we submitted, and, we were okay to open it. And we had said we were gonna run it the same way as the previous owners for a year, and that we would open, and we got the okay to do that. So then when we got the email that said we couldn't open, then we started, saying, why, asking questions and saying, well, we can't open yet because we're not ready to open yet. And so now you're putting us under the gun to open, and so it's like chicken or the egg, and then all of a sudden we get a violation. If we got a violation in April, I think things would have been a lot further along right now, at some point, or this meeting would have happened 4 months ago, whatever it is. But we were going full board to open this year, to be able to open. Under the approvals of when we took over last year. We took over in January of 2021. And we got all the approvals, well, we got the approval from the health department in, I believe, June 7th, or somewhere in early June, I think it was, of '21.
And they were never actually fully licensed. We never did the final inspection, but everything.
No, right, no, right, you didn't. You had informed me it would take a week, and I had emailed you, said, when we're ready, we'll do the inspection. Yeah. So that's what, going into this year, that's what we were operating under, that previous approval. And then the select board called us in April to ask us for an update, and then they started this revocation process because they said, you didn't open, and so that's where, so we're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place right now. We're not here saying at all that we're not putting in a new septic. We're not saying we're never gonna put in a septic system. We just wanted more time, and not more time on the violation. That's ludicrous. 45 days, what are you gonna do, give us 60? You wanna give us all the approvals now?
I said I'd be
If you wanna give us the approvals now,
Sir?
if you wanna give us the approvals now for a new septic system, we'll have it in 30 days. But it doesn't, I mean, that's how ludicrous that's a ludicrous statement I made. But that's
We will-
the
we will be
reality
willing
of it.
To extend the time for the septic system.
Yeah, that's, we're looking for extended time, not so much on the violation, because, I mean, we all know it can't be done in 45 days, I mean,
Okay,
or even 60,
we said we would extend it.
I think Sharon wants to have her final comments too. She keeps kind of raising her hand.
Sharon?
Okay, let me start with what I'm getting out of this. That, the license, was transferred like a year and a half ago, all right? And I'm assuming with that, you knew that you had to exercise the liquor license. And you chose not to do it. Now, I don't know whether that was as a result of COVID or what the reason was, but nonetheless, it wasn't because the town said not to. One of the big issues I see is the cesspool. Now, I've served on the wastewater committee, and I take the water here on the Cape very, very seriously because we only have one aquifer, all right? I don't know at what point you knew that you needed to upgrade that cesspool to a Title V. And what's bothering me is I haven't heard anything from you that you're looking at this as something that is really needs to be done. It's like, well, I want to do this and this and this, and then I'll get around to doing the Title V upgrade, but I don't see that you've made any real effort to securing any kind of design or a company to get ready to give you a date, because they're not going to be able to do it next week. And if you knew in advance that this needed to be done, what has taken so long for you to get the ducks in order for this upgrade? Because to me, this is the most important thing. I think to you, and I understand this, is to get your liquor license going, and yet I think you should have been able to do both at the same time. I think the liquor license may be just as important, maybe less, than having that cesspool upgraded to Title V. And I guess my feeling is what you need to do is make that the priority, and I don't see that that's been done. So I would be inclined to say, let's make that the priority, then deal with the liquor license.
Yeah, well, this board's not dealing with the liquor license. I was just explaining what's going to happen in a couple of weeks. When we first took over the property a year and a half ago, we were told and under the impression that we could operate that property for a year, or when we proposed that in our business plan, that we could operate that property for a year, And then,
And you did, correct.
And
You
then
did
in-
for a
in the-
year.
I'm sorry.
So all right, so if you transferred a year and a half ago and you thought you were allowed to, work that property or business for a year, I'm assuming you did that.
We never opened, no, but we've
All
been
right,
on the
But
property.
you could have.
No, we couldn't have opened, no. No.
Why?
Well, we had a lot of work to do, and we hadn't got the final permits to open.
And when did you get those?
We don't have them now.
All right, other than because of the cesspool, what else is outstanding?
Building permit.
So then, this idea of opening isn't based on the liquor license.
Isn't based on the liquor I'm not following you.
Well, you're saying, one of the other types of things that you needed was this building permit. And you're saying that's still outstanding. So I'm saying that the liquor license isn't the only thing that's holding this from being open. There's
Well,
also a building permit, is what you just said.
The liquor license is not holding it from being open. We have the liquor license. If we had all the approvals, we could open. So the liquor license is not holding it. It's the inspections by the town, the health department, the building department.
All right, so then the liquor license really is a moot point. My point is, if all these other things that you were looking at, why was the cesspool not addressed sooner? It seems like that has been left go to the last minute, and I do have a problem with that. I don't think the people on the Cape take our water and wastewater serious enough. It's always like it's the last thought, and I think that needs to change. And I guess my thought is, you knew that that cesspool needed to be upgraded to a Title V. Why wasn't that a priority? Why haven't you engaged somebody to at least come up with the drawings, give you a date, get it under contract and say, hey, here it is. I'm going to have it done. They're going to start on such and such a date. And it seems like you really haven't done anything towards that.
We did. We got a drawing last year, and we got a preliminary price, and we made a decision who to use for that. But
And
why
did you submit it why didn't you submit it and follow through with it if you have that?
Because we weren't ready to submit it yet. We weren't
But
ready to
you-
submit
why?
it. We were gonna operate for a year. We had the approval to operate
No,
for.
no. Hold on a minute. No, yeah, you're changing the subject there. You could have, if the object was to work for, operate for a year, there was no reason that you couldn't pursue that upgrade to the septic system. They can be done at the same time. What I'm saying is, you left that go. You could have had that under contract and be ready to start. And that's what's bothering me with this. It
And
just
it-
seems like everything else took the priority besides the septic system, and I have trouble with that.
And if I may say that, there was no way for sure if you would win this appeal or not, and you still have not started anything to give us a hint that you've been working on trying to get things for a new septic system.
Have we started, you're asking if we started, we haven't started anything, no.
That's what I'm
Other
saying.
we have a drawing.
Yeah, but that was a year and a half ago. There was
Well,
no
it was
way,
about a
there
year
was no
ago.
guarantee that you would
We
win
would-
this appeal.
I mean, if we could.
But there was nothing in the
if we-
meantime that you did to go, recently, to go forward to at least say, hey, we're trying to do this. We've started
Well,
with another drawing, we've contacted somebody to come out again or whatever,
right.
if necessary.
Well, we got the violation, as did our landlord, on August 31st, and we've been, where the landlord is sharing the cost with us. We've discussed with he and his lawyer about that upgrade, yes. We have done that much, but in 2 weeks, but we haven't contracted anybody yet, if that's what you're saying. But, we're
I guess
definitely.
what I'm saying is that you have known for at least a year, if not longer, that it needed to be done. That's why you contracted with somebody and you got a rough drawing and you had some preliminary work done. What I'm having issue with is that you have let that drop. You have not moved forward with that. That, to me, should have been a #1 priority. Let's get it done, and it hasn't. So, no, you don't have it done now, and I do think that's a problem. I think you've had sufficient time to engage somebody and get it under contract, and it could have been started soon, had you done this sooner. So I guess I'm looking at, some of this was your choice to let this go when you knew that this was going to be an issue.
Okay.
Do we want to make a vote? Take a vote, I mean?
I'd vote option 3. My name's Rondo Gallo.
You have to read it.
Move to deny the appeal request for 126 Route 28 and uphold the order to upgrade the septic system issued by the Health Department on August 31st, 2022. The denial is based on the fact that the appeal does not meet the necessary requirements and criteria for approval pursuant to 310 CMR 15.000 for Harwich Board and Health Regulations, and is failing to protect the public health and safety and environment specifically.
You can just say those, instead of reading the whole thing, the 310, you can read those sections.
Say again?
These sections will be part of the motion. You don't have to read the whole thing, but just these numbers.
Okay.
And then these two.
Okay, so 310 CMR 15.3033, a cesspool serving a facility with design flow of 2,000 gallons of greater, but less than 10,000 gallons per day, is failing to protect the public health, safety, welfare, and the environment. The owner of such a facility is required pursuant to 310 CMR 27.044 to notify the department's underground injection control program and local approving authority 30 days prior to upgrading the cesspool, to have completed the upgrade of the cesspool by April 5th, 2005.
You can just
The
read the
numbers,
section,
yeah.
Say again.
Just read the, CMR numbers.
15.3015, title inspection is required prior to change to any expansion of use of facilities serving for which a building permit or occupancy permit from the local building inspector is required. If a building permit or occupancy permit is submitted by the town for review, a Title V inspection is triggered. 310 CMR 15, failure to upgrade systems or to make other necessary correction actions as ordered or otherwise directed by the approval authority of the department in accordance with 310 CMR 15.000. Local health board regulations, non-standard systems. Systems comprised in whole or in part of a cesspools are not grandfathered, and their continuance will not be allowed. Local Harwich Board of Health Regulations, Department of Environmental Protection issued on a letter on April 22nd, 1992 to all boards of health in Commonwealth regarding the non-grandfathered status of cesspools. The DEP has determined that existing cesspools are not in compliance with current Title V standards, and efforts should be made to upgrade on behalf of local boards and health whenever possible. In keeping with the Department of Environmental Protection policy statement, the Harwich Board of Health has reviewed its current practices and regulations over the past several weeks and have determined that the following policies are to be put into effect. These changes have been determined by the Board of Health to be necessary in an effort to meet compliance with the state regulations.
Okay, thank you. State a
Second.
name if you, with a second, agreeing with?
I'll second.
State your name, please.
Sharon Flieger.
Kevin, are you in agreement?
Kevin Dupont, aye.
Matt Antone. Yes.
Say a little louder.
I'm in agreement.
Your name?
Matt Antone.
Okay. Pam Howell in agreement. It's unanimous with the board.
Ron, did you vote? We
Yes.
still need Ron and Sharon.
Yes.
Sharon voted.
Did Sharon do the second?
Sharon
Oh, I'm
Fleeger says
sorry.
yes.
We have to do the, okay,
The
even
roll
though they,
Okay.
sorry.
Roger Gallo, option 3.
Aye.
One more time, Sharon.
Oh, I agree.
Sharon, state your name just for the record.
Oh,
Roll.
Sharon Fleeger, I agree.
Thank you.
Okay.
So the board had mentioned an extension of the 45 days. Is that, the board is the board going to do that? Or are you sticking with the 45 days?
We can, yeah,
So you can amend the motion?
we can amend the motion, what
Let's
specifically.
take Jeff's.
Madam Chair, I don't think you have to amend the motion. I think you can make a further motion, because you've upheld the order, but you can make a further motion to give an additional amount of time to come into compliance. Now, I don't know about you, but I think every one of you have asked how much time they need, and I've never actually heard an amount of time, but certainly I think you could just make another motion to allow X instead of the 45 days.
Okay.
Can I ask a question there? With what he just said, is there a way that, for the motion on the timing of this, that they could get back to us at some point, the sooner the better, that they've got something under contract, that we have some idea of when this can be done? Because other than that, it's going to be arbitrary. I don't see how we can put a time limit on it when we don't know what he can arrange with the person that's going to be doing the work. That doesn't necessarily mean we were going to agree with it, but if he doesn't even have a date in mind, I don't see how we can come up with, 45 days, 60 days, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, if we don't have a time frame in which it can be done.
Could we do a 45-day response from them with some proof that they've started?
Would it have to be an appeal, or could,
In my opinion, again, I'm sorry, I should have introduced myself. I'm Jeff Blake from KP Law, Town Council. In my opinion, you could ask them to come back forward.
Jeff, you stand at the microphone.
Okay, sorry. Sorry about that. My name is Jeff Blake. I'm from KP Law, Town Council. I think that what you could do is you could have them come back and provide you with a status, say in 30 days. And at that point, once you've gotten everything in a row, you could certainly have the vote to enlarge the 45-day period at that point.
That's kind of what I was getting at.
Yes.
So we could schedule it for the next meeting we have.
if that works for the
We need to make a
applicant?
motion for this?
I'll make a motion to
State
give them
your name.
30 days, or
Does that work for you? Does October 20th work?
Is that 45
To
days?
come up with October 20th, to come up with a definitive plan, an agreed-upon plan with the septic company.
In other words, a contract or something.
Yeah, something more concrete than we have a
Doesn't have to be
picture.
completed or anything, and then we'll work
No, I know
out the
it-
extension,
I know
yeah.
it can't be completed, yeah. Yeah, sure.
So, we need a motion for that, a vote?
make an amendment to give the
I think it could be a new motion, right?
I think
It
it should
doesn't
be a
need to
new
be an
motion.
amendment.
Shouldn't be,
I think it can be a new
New
motion.
motion.
make a motion to give the applicant time until October 20th to present sufficient evidence that a contractor has been contracted for the septic upgrade,
And to identify an extension to the 45 days.
to identify an extension time up to 45 days or longer.
So in 30 days, we come back here with some type of a plan, and then at that
With-
point, you
with the
decide whether
contractor's-
to,
with the
that
contractor's
plan,
name.
that plan is okay with you folks, And at that point, you decide to
Then we'll have an
whatever,
idea.
go
how
along
long
with
it'll
that
take.
plan or whatever.
Say your name, though.
Van Antone.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
Kevin Dupont, I
Sharon
second that
Figure.
motion.
Go ahead.
Okay, so roll call. Sharon, are you in agreement with this motion?
Sharon Flieger is a yes.
Kevin?
Kevin Dupont, yes.
Van Antone, yes.
Pam Howell, yes?
Ron DeGallo, yes?
Okay.
And if you want to get the contractor any information to me beforehand, the Wednesday before, that's when we get them the packets.
I'm
If you want
sorry,
it in the
what,
packet.
do what?
It's just the deadline for
Oh,
submitting to them.
okay.
Okay,
So I think we can go back to a new business if you want to go there.
Thank you very much.
thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm happy to stay, but if you're good,
I
then
think
I'll.
we're good.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, it was great seeing everybody.
Nice seeing you. Okay, so, public hearing, do you want to read that?
This one right here.
Which one is this?
A on the bottom.
A on the bottom? Which one are you talking
Right here. Yep, that one.
about? New business?
Yes.
Okay, public hearing to solicit comment on proposed revisions to the Town of Harwich Board of Health animal regulations.
I opened the public hearing. Any comments from the audience? Okay, you sure now? No further comments. We will go to the board for discussion.
Close the hearing and then you can.
I'll close, and I'm closing the public hearing. Katie, do you have anything?
I don't have anything further. No.
So, are we ready to accept it?
It's up to the.
Sharon's,
board.
all Sharon's hard work?
All right, I thought we were gonna go through and ask for comments. If nobody else has one, I have a small one. And again, it's going to be formatting. The only thing I would ask is that when we have like a section 7, where you have, I'm using this as an example, like pigs and piggeries, that it's not on the bottom of a page, it's on the top of the page, and I'm sure Jen can do that. But I see where that's at a couple of places, that it should probably be moved over to the next page so that it just flows nicer when somebody's reading it. That's my only comment. Other than that, I think it looks good.
That's easy, we can do that.
Okay.
Kevin Dupont, I don't have anything to add. I know we've discussed this many times in the past at previous meetings, and provided with the formatting, I would like to go forward with it.
Van Antone, no comments.
Ron DeGallo, no comment?
So, we can vote to accept it?
Yeah, I'm surprised there was no public comment, kind of.
I know.
I'm taking that as a good sign.
Is there any public comment?
So that would already got closed, but they could reopen it.
No, I asked him.
This is kind of just like news to us. We just got an email the other day. Why did this happen? If you can come up to the microphone, they can't hear you, I'm sorry.
You want to reopen public comment?
Yes.
I'll open the public comment again. Just state your name, please.
Hi, yes, sure. I'm Elizabeth Dubuque, and I just got a couple questions. I guess one, we're wondering kind of where this kind of came from, and also, is this replacing the existing regulations? Because the existing regulations like have different numbers, and so that's going to completely get wiped out. Okay. I mean, I did have a couple little questions on here, if you want.
Oh, please, yes.
Go ahead.
Toss them to you. And I guess, I don't know, where did this, why did this come about?
You want me to answer it?
Please.
So the animal regulations hadn't been updated in decades and decades. We have a piggery permit, we didn't have any piggery regulations, so the board decided to look at the whole regulation at the same time and basically just update and clarify a little bit.
And are these the like state regulations that are being imposed on a local level, or?
The draft ones that are provided that are on the side table, those are the draft for Harwich that they'll be voting on.
Okay.
Maybe not tonight, but
Does it come from the state, or is it?
part of it comes from the state, mostly surrounding towns, as well as, the board has been working on this for 6 months, maybe.
Okay,
So they've had many meetings.
all right. I know one thing, because, I have a horse here in town, and I am just curious about some of the language that, maybe my comments might be helpful. I know one thing on here, it says all stall sizes shall be commensurate with equine size. That's kind of subjective. Who makes that determination? Is it like the animal control officer?
Ultimately, either the animal control officer, a Board of Health member, or a member designated by the Board of Health.
Okay.
Some towns will have, a required 12 by 12 stall, but if you have a 10-hand mini, you don't necessarily have to have a 12.
Right, and no matter how small the horse is, even if you have a mini, you have to have an 8-foot clearance?
I think it's, what number is that again?
That's 6.9. It kind of seems a little excessive if you've got like a
So
donkey.
they're asking for these kind of comments, so if the board wanted to amend it, a
Yeah,
minimum
I mean, it just
or-
seems a smidge excessive if you've got a horse that's, 20 inches tall. Okay. And, let's see, I guess also, section 8.1, I think maybe it goes on, that number 1, it just all drainage, animal waste shall be disposed of in a sanitary manner, but I think it kind of explains what you're supposed to do after that. But that's maybe just normal language in regulations. 9.3 just has a typo. I think it's supposed to be like a property located in zone 2 as
Any.
opposed to
Yep.
an.
Good call.
Thank you.
No big deal. I guess, did you guys think of anything else that was concerning? Oh, I don't know. Does do these regulations don't really apply or have any effect on septic?
The animal regulations?
Yeah.
No, well, in theory, if you have a horse property, the nitrogen does count
Right.
towards it, so in theory, that would be the only.
And the discussion that you're having on the,
What makes a bedroom?
That's
That's
a, yeah,
next.
completely
yeah, I think
different
that's
agenda.
another, that's in, yeah, right, I think that is, I didn't really see that mentioned, but I think there's a whole different section on environmental impact, on how you do the environmental impact report and,
For the animals?
yeah. I mean, that's in the building code, isn't it?
That's a different section.
A different section, yeah. Yeah, so this regulation that you're talking about with the Title V today, the other subject has nothing to do with this.
No,
Yeah.
the one we're on right now is just
Yeah,
the
that's what I
animals.
thought. Okay, all right, thank you.
Can I just make
Oh.
one comment about that?
About the animals or about the
About
type?
the bedroom thing?
Not yet, we'll get to
No,
that
that's a
one.
different hearing.
Well, because a horse is a bedroom.
You have to go to the mic, please, if you're gonna speak. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kristen Goulis. I just had a question about, because back when I got my permit, I had to go through the whole environmental impact thing, and they considered a horse a bedroom. So I don't know if that has anything to do with
What year did you get your stable permit?
2008, 9?
So there's contact the health department, we can sit down, there's actually an equation that you use. But if you have questions on your individual property, contact us and we
Okay,
can meet
my
with you.
stuff's all grandfathered, right, so I'm.
Right, we wouldn't be
Okay.
taking horses away, nothing
Okay.
would change in that sense.
So,
Hi, this is Sharon. Can I just make a comment
Sure.
based on what she was saying? I really appreciate the comments. And just for further clarification, what we have here has been taken from the state regulations that we have adopted. There are more regulations on the state website if you're looking for something that's not there, or I think you could probably, and I hope I'm not speaking out of term, you could contact Katie and she'll either have it for you or get it for you or tell you where to find it. But there are more regulations on the state that we did not make this all encompassing.
There was a question though about the height of, if it's a mini
I think that's a valid point,
horse.
because we have stall size commensurate with size.
Do they have a suggestion on what they think would be a good way to word this?
If you, come up to them.
Well, you have the horse, so you could tell us what
Sure.
you think should be.
Yeah, well, actually, I'll be honest, this is the first I've looked at this. Head clearance. All stall sizes. I mean, maybe if you just rewrote 6.8 to say something like all stall sizes. I don't know, that's actually kind of sums it up. Maybe you don't even need 6.9. Or, should be commensurate with equine size, and then maybe just expand that definition. That's width, square footage, and height, as opposed to saying it has to be a minimum of 8 feet, which, 8 feet is pretty tall. I mean, granted, it is a good idea to keep a large horse in a stall that tall, but if you had a small horse, that might be a bit excessive.
My only comment to that is, and I could possibly agree with you, I would just like to go back and change, and take a look at what the state is saying, is if they're saying all equine animals, it must be an 8-foot clearance. I don't know for sure that it stated that specifically, and if not, then I would think we can change it, but that may be the way they have it in the state regulation. So I think we might need to go back and check that.
We have our animal control officer here that I'll put on the spot.
Oh.
If she has
Okay.
input on it.
All right, perfect.
And I don't know, do the state regulations supersede town, or can the town have stricter?
If I'm not mistaken, the state does, we can be more stringent, but we can't be less stringent.
Oh, okay.
So if we don't have one in place, but the state does, then the state supersedes. If we have one that's
Yeah.
more strict than the state, then ours supersedes.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Jennifer Harrington, the Animal Control Officer. So, back to 6.8, I thought that we had originally had stall sizes in the draft. I think that all stall sizes shall commensurate with the equine size. I think that's going to be a huge problem, and that's going to all fall on my lap because I'm the one that's doing the inspections. So I really think that we need to have the size in there of the stalls. And I know that we had it previously, so I'm not sure why that was taken out.
Well, do you agree that having a smaller horse wouldn't need that height?
So there's two separate ones. There's 6.8, which talks about the stall size in general. And then there's 6.9, which talks about head clearance. So yes, I do agree that for a mini, the head clearance shouldn't be 8 feet. And we have, there's different types of mini. There's type A, type B, and some are smaller, some are larger, but it's not necessary to have 8 feet head clearance, so.
We could put commensurate with their size and then break it down and have a range for, for the stall size versus,
Could there
You know,
be a comment
I
like
do think
this?
that, I do think that the state had different sizes, and I think she's correct. I think we did have some of that in there, and we kind of condensed it, but I do think, and I won't specifically say for sure, I'd have to go back and check. I think there were some different sizes mentioned, you know, for like stallions or, you know, different sizes, that we can go back and look at.
There are different sizes, and originally that was what was in the draft, so I don't know what happened to that. That was the original draft that I had gotten, that Sharon had done up, had sizes.
yeah, and we
You're
haven't
right.
worked on
I
Sharon's draft
remember
for a
that.
long time.
I
So if you
remember
need a
that.
clean copy of the one that we're working on, I'm happy to give you another copy. 'cause
Okay,
it's
well, I have it
changed a
now.
lot. Okay.
So, but yeah, I think that it is important to have the stall sizes in there. And again, that, the inspections, because I do the inspections, so it's gonna be a debate with every person out there that has a shed, that is not adequate for a horse or a pony, and they think that it is, and it's gonna be a fight. I think that there has to be a standard for that.
So, with this in mind about stall sizes being commensurate, would it be possible if there could be, you know, kind of like a set, you know, size greater than the horse? If we have a horse of this size, how much room does that need? If we have a horse of this size, how much room, you know, so if we have, you know, a stallion that's, you know, 6 feet tall, 4 feet wide or whatever, it needs a certain amount of space in a stall. Could there be, like, could we have different stall sizes, maybe like 3 different ones? Or could we say that it has to be a certain amount bigger than the horse? And that way, there's at least a number there, you know, based on the size of the horse,
Yeah,
that's
there's a-
definitive.
There's a
Is
chart
that-
we can put back in.
Okay.
It's like, under,
head clearance or
Yeah, like there,
head clearance.
you can't
Yeah,
talk
and
from
there-
the seat, sorry, you have to come up to a mic.
there was, there are, I think there's usually 3 different sizes. And that was in the chart that Katie's referring to. So,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
So we can add that back in. And we can rework, 6-9 to have a similar chart.
Anything else?
I just have a comment about 6.10. My stalls are run-ins, so I don't actually have windows in them, but it's the door that opens out. Could that be counted as a window? And as far as draft-free ventilation, I mean, you're gonna get a draft with the window open. I don't know how you could really have draft-free ventilation, unless you mean just like wind blowing on the horse. I'm just not really clear on that.
Yeah, I think it's so that they can get a breeze, but they're not being blasted by the wind, that they're protected from the elements.
Right. I mean, if I were gonna build another barn, I probably would do it the same way, like the whole door is just open wide out, like, would that be counted as a window? Like a Dutch door?
I would consider that, because a Dutch door does have a window on it.
And also, the bare wood or concrete floors prohibited without bedding, I would say maybe without mats too. I don't think anybody probably would put a horse on concrete without mats, but they would. I
So
wouldn't.
we could add without mats and bedding if everyone wanted to add that.
And are you gonna come and measure the 3 inches of, of bedding when it gets inspected? I might go over that, I don't know.
Okay. So, we'll make the corrections and,
Yeah, we can bring it
back.
back on I think the October meeting's quickly filling, but we can bring this one back on October 20th if you want to vote to continue it, and we'll bring back a clean copy.
okay, do I hear a motion to continue This is the
And
next
Antone, I'll
one.
make a motion to continue to October 20th,
Okay,
No earlier than 6:30 PM.
no earlier than 6:30.
second,
Kevin Dupont, I second the motion.
okay. Sharon, are you in agreement?
Sharon Flieger in agreement.
Kevin?
Kevin Dupont, in agreement.
Matt Antone, in agreement.
Pam Howell in agreement?
Rhonda Gallo, in agreement.
Okay, all right. So we'll see that on the next meeting. Okay. We'll go on to the public hearing A, if you want to read that. On the,
Under old, new,
the
unfinished.
first one under old business, about the bedroom.
Where we? One here, that's the, unfinished business, okay. Public hearing to solicit public comment on proposed Town of Harwich Board of Health local regulation to supplement Title V State Environmental Code bedroom definition for the purpose of sizing a septic system for building permit review. Continue from August 16, 22 Board of Health meeting.
Okay, I'm going to open the public hearing. Any comments from the audience? Okay, nobody? Didn't you have a question about the bedroom?
I just want to make sure that a horse is not still considered bedroom.
Oh.
I think that's probably true.
Right. So I would be able to revise my permit then?
You'd have to do a new environmental impact statement.
Okay.
We can sit down, you'd need an engineer per, registered sanitarian to go through it with you. Obviously, you'd be grandfathered in if the rate changes, but there is the possibility that you'll actually be higher now, depending on the calculation, so.
Right. Well, I think we're supposed to go on the sewer. So like,
Okay. So just give us a call, we can't talk about individual properties right now, but I'm happy to meet with you at the staff level.
okay, I'm sorry, what's your name?
Katie, I'm the
Okay.
health director, so if you wanna just call or email the health
Okay.
department, we can talk about your situation,
thank
but no, horses are not bedrooms.
Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing and comments from the board.
Kevin Dupont, I don't have any comments on this. It seems pretty straightforward.
Matt Antone, no comment.
Rhonda Gallo, no comment.
Okay, Sharon? Can't hear
Sharon
you.
Flieger, no
Okay.
comment.
So, we can vote to accept the revisions as stated?
So it would be vote to adopt the Town of Harwich Board of Health local regulation to supplement Title V State Environmental Code bedroom definition for the purpose of sizing a septic system and for building permit review effective tomorrow or whatever date you wanna pick.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to accept Katie's proposal?
Before we do that, do we have to put a date in there?
I think she said the day after tomorrow, or today,
Tomorrow.
tomorrow. So
Oh,
it'll be,
okay, I didn't hear that. All right,
September 21st, I would believe.
okay.
Kevin Dupont, I motion to accept the Town of Harwich Board of Health local regulation to supplement Title V State Environmental Code bedroom definition for the purpose of sizing a septic system and for building permit review effective tomorrow, September 21st, 2022.
Do I hear a
Matt
second?
Antone.
Sharon, are you in agreement?
Yes.
Your
Sharon
name,
Flieger in
Sharon.
agreement.
Kevin Dupont, in agreement?
Matt Antone, agreement.
Pam Howell in agreement?
Rhonda Gallo, in agreement.
Okay,
That was easy.
That's easy. Right.
good.
So then we're on, this one here.
Top one?
Yep.
B? Okay. Show cause hearing, 236 Division Street, Weber, owner, has requested to appeal notice of violation issued on August 11th, 22, regarding septic system failure.
And I believe they are on remote as well as their agent, Joe Martins. So we have Tina Weber and Joe Martins.
Okay, I open the hearing. Somebody wanna, representing them, speak?
Katie, should I recuse myself now from this one publicly?
I would.
Okay. Kevin Dupont, just want to publicly recuse myself from voting on this issue as I am friends with the former homeowners.
So you can just sit here if you want.
What do I?
Just go to the sides, you're not on the board.
I am off the board for now.
Thanks, Gav.
No problem.
Can I hear from somebody?
So Tina, that'd either be you or Joe.
I believe Joe is on there. He just needs to unmute himself, I think.
So if you want to explain to the board why we're here, a little bit of the background, why you're appealing.
Sure. I'll just, I'll read what I had sent. My name is Christina Weber. I own 236 Division Street in West Harwich with my husband, Derek. On July 29th, a crew from Jim the Inspector Man, a subcontractor of Robert B. Auer, arrived to perform a Title V inspection. My husband was on site to help as needed with accessing the septic system. The majority of the inspection was performed by James Sears' son. When the crew left, we had no indication there was a problem with our system. It is a newer system, which was built in 2011. It had a passing inspection in 2019 and was pumped on December 30th, 2020. Additionally, our yard and household showed absolutely zero signs of failure. The inspection crew on July 29th told my husband we were all set and did not mention any failures or suggestions. We received a call on August 1st from Robert B. Auer informing us that our system had failed the Title V inspection. My husband and I were completely taken aback by this new information, but we, as somebody that does care a lot about the environment, we began looking at plans to fix the leaching field. Once our initial shock had faded, we recognized that neither Derek nor I trusted the competence of the crew from Jim the Inspector Man. Even I'm looking at the inspection form right now, and there are a lot of inaccuracies, which I could certainly go over in detail. They were confused about the prior inspection when they were at our house, thinking it was done in 2010. They were citing a clerical error for that misinformation. They were also struggling to figure out access. And they never actually told us that they didn't inspect the tank. So furthermore, my husband felt they had not done a thorough job. James Sears, the licensed inspector, was present for some oversight, but was not actively involved in the inspection. Given the high cost of the leaching system replacement, quoted at $15,000, we did decide to get a second opinion. On August 11th, Joe Martins, who is here right now, from Sept arrived and performed an extremely thorough and comprehensive inspection. His degree of expertise and communication skills earned our trust. From his explanation, there is a part of the structure that could appear to be a watermark to someone not examining closely. I believe he said it was part of the chimney. But it was not a watermark. It's just part of the structure, and that there were indications of dryness, such as crystal formation, which he could describe in much better detail than I can. And then he did go on to submit a conditional pass for our Title V inspection, which we did do the two things that were requested, which was pumping the system and making access hatches. And that's basically the summary. And Joe Martins was so kind enough to be here for any technical questions you might have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Joe, you
Can't
need
hear
to
you, Joe.
unmute yourself. There you go.
Yeah, it muted me again, so, yeah, so if anyone has any questions, I don't normally do a second opinion, but I felt that the owners were in somewhat of a distress, and that it probably would be okay to do it. And so we did a second inspection there. I had also done the inspection in 2019, just for background. And in 2019, I examined the soil absorption system and only noticed 1/4 of an inch of liquid at the bottom of the infiltrators, and no evidence of staining or high levels in the bottom. So that was basically 3 years ago. They're averaging about 200 gallons a day into the system. We were able to access, so I guess in summary, I looked at the distribution box. That looked okay, although it appeared, she had referenced that it appeared there might have been a high water mark, but at first there was some shadowing in the D box. The levels were not above the inverts of the pipes coming out of the distribution box. And where one riser chimney connects with another one, there was some shadowing, I guess you'd call it, or different color. Further, so I checked the staining. I checked the level in the soil absorption system from the inspection port, and it was dry. There was some superficial staining, but not much, not black stain, just I would call it mottled staining, and it was dry in the SAS. As far as the septic tank went, we were able to, through the help of the homeowner, the septic tank access covers were mostly under the deck, or a portion of them were under the deck. So we actually removed the covers by digging underneath, and the homeowner took a chainsaw to the part of the deck, the outer 10 inches, and we opened them up. And the tank does need a pumping. We saw that there were 30% solids, despite the fact that it had been pumped in 2020. So that was a bit unusual. We also further, just because there was it is a second inspection, we put a sewer camera to 2 of the lines and went through 2 of the pipes leading from the distribution box to the infiltrators. The pipes were clean, and I got a pretty good shot of the inside of the infiltrators and determined that the stain line was 3 inches. The high stain line was 3 inches above the floor of the infiltrators, and above that, no evidence of staining or solids residual. So I put it down as a conditional pass because they need to provide access to both of the covers, and the tank needed to be thoroughly pumped and cleaned because the solids are at 30% of the tank volume. And that's pretty much it.
Thank you. Appreciate. Any public comment? I'm gonna close the hearing. Katie, your recommendation?
Sure. So I don't want to have the credibility question on either inspector in this. I did see the pictures. I am also a licensed Title V inspector. My initial reaction would have also been to fail it. Talking or reading Joe's report and hearing his argument, I would recommend allowing the overturn of the original failed inspection, but only issuing a passing real estate transfer letter when the basement finished space is either eliminated or heard before the Board of Health. I did provide an option for motion, which is number 2, if you wanted to move forward with that. I want the board to not put any credibility issues on any inspector. We really screen inspectors in Harwich very strictly. I don't think there was any malice whatsoever. Joe Martins has been, Joe, how long have you been doing this? A long time. You've seen it all. Teaches the classes.
Not all, I haven't seen it all, but I've seen a lot, so there's always something new coming down the pike, so.
But I don't want Jim's credibility to be a concern, because I do understand why he failed it. I certainly would have thought that as well, seeing the pictures. But I agree with Joe that it should be overturned. The property does have existing variances though, and that is a problem. That finished space has been added. So that would need to be corrected before the board could issue a true passing letter.
So,
Could I just speak on that real quickly? We are planning on taking down walls to make it so that it can't be confused for livable space.
So that would still have to go through the building permit process to deconstruct the space. And we would still have to do a walkthrough, which I did include in my motion.
So we can't overturn the initial failed,
You can, I would recommend overturning.
and then
And
the separate,
accepting.
then another motion for,
I think you can include it
oh, okay.
in one as a condition.
Do I hear a motion on the director's recommendation?
Madam Anton, I'll make a motion to approve the director's recommendations and allow the sale to overturn.
So I actually gave you option 2 that has everything in it, if you want to just read that.
Move to approve the appeal for 236 Division Street and overturn the initial failed Title V inspection in violation notice dated August 11, 2022, with the following condition. 1, the owners completely eliminate the unpermitted finished space in the basement through a building permit application or receive approval from the Board of Health and have a reconsideration variance conditions for the license and square footage of habitable space. All work must be properly permitted through the building department.
Do I hear a second?
Can I just add something to that? I thought we were going to go around with any additional questions. With that
I thought I
septic
did.
system, I believe it is his name Martin, mentioned that they still had some things to do there, like the access.
So Sharon, did you second, just for point of
Oh,
clarification?
right, yes, I'll second the motion.
Okay, thank you. Now you can go ahead for discussion.
All right, so my question was, he mentioned that they would have to, they still need to take care of the two, like, access to the septic system. Does that need to be included in this motion, that needs to be done?
So it's actually already done.
Okay, all right, sorry about that. All right,
But it would, yes, if it wasn't.
okay.
Okay, Kevin?
I'm not voting.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. You're sitting, I'm sorry.
So just to clarify, we're doing the roll call vote. We had a motion and a second.
Yes, sorry. Sharon, you in agreement?
Agreement.
Madam Anton, I'm in agreement.
Pam Howell in agreement?
Rhonda Gallo, in agreement.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Should we,
Can we just take a 2-minute recess? The laptop's
Go grab my charger.
Sure.
the second one in.
we'll go to the ladies'
Yes.
hall, please.
So I can rejoin the board.
Oh, okay.
You
You
want to just
want,
say resume, return from recess?
do you want to read C?
See? Correct. Okay, here we go. Show cause hearing. Miss Lisa's Cuisine, 554 Route 28, Apartment 1. Violation of 105 CMR 590.000. State Sanitary Code, Chapter 10, Minimum Standards for Food Establishment and Federal Food Code.
Okay, I open the hearing.
So if you want to come have a seat up here and just introduce yourself.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Taryn Jackson. I am owner of Miss Lisa's New Orleans Cuisine. We reside 554 Main Street. Been there for the last 8 years. Anything else?
Are you serving out of your home?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. A year and a half ago, I lost my job. I was working at Mid-Cape. And I just decided I didn't want to work for anybody else. And I did. I was doing things between my friends. I know a lot of people out here. And I was selling chicken and fish on the weekends and stuff, but this was months ago. From that, one weekend we decided to do something for the homeless, where we had people give donations. With the donations, we did, I want to say, like 143 plates. Donated it to the homeless in Hyannis. After that, I really started getting popular, and we went legit. I have proof. My next step was we went to New Bedford, where we were leasing out the kitchen. We're in partnership where we had a partner that had a bar. We were leasing out the kitchen. That was on 24 Clifford Street. I have my IRS papers and stuff like I could show proof of that. From New Bedford, we moved to Fall River to a 90-seat diner, which that's where we are currently. We've been there since June, and we're looking forward to moving to Providence October 1st, where it's our building 100%. I wouldn't sit here and tell you guys that I'm not serving food out there. If I was, I have no reason to lie about it. I don't, and I do understand that you guys have a job and you have to make sure that I'm doing things the right way. Honestly, I got too busy to sell plates from my house. We went from chicken and fish to chicken, fish, seafood, potatoes, gumbo, red beans and rice. I'm from New Orleans, so we do all of the New Orleans cuisine, but no, I haven't. I have months ago. I haven't recently, not at all.
Okay, so you understand that you can't do that from your house
Yes,
ever?
I 100%.
We would love a New Orleans, come to the
I
board,
do.
we'll help you, permit it the right way, but you can't do it out
Yeah,
of your house.
yeah, but so I do have everything permitted for Providence, just like I had everything permitted for New Bedford and Fall River. That's why we moved forward. I know that there was only so much that I could do there, and I know that that's not, doing something probably for my friends, that's one thing, but when you're starting to cater to the public, I know that you have to go forward, move forward, and get licenses and everything, so.
So you're still listed on DoorDash, Uber Eats, Postmates, and,
I have no Postmates.
so we'll have to get them all taken off.
Yeah.
Because the way we found out about this was, either an Uber Eats or a DoorDash driver came into us because he had a pickup scheduled that was booked online. So those are all online ordering food services.
Exactly,
So one of the drivers came to us to alert us of the issue.
yes.
So you understand that you can't do it out of your house?
The driver, yes, the driver that came here was the same driver that called and said he had an order, and I said, I don't understand why you have an order there, because we're not taking orders from there. That's my residential address. We have to accept the orders. Even when you go through the computer or you pick up the phone, you have to literally accept the order. So for him to be outside the house, someone had to accept the order. When that guy called, I answered the phone and I told that guy myself that we wasn't serving food there. So I don't know why he would assume that or whatever. Even if you look on the internet, like right now, if one of you guys just Googled Miss Lisa's, you see the two addresses that come up. It's an address that comes up in New Bedford, and there's an address that comes up in Providence.
And
Except for
Harwich. That
yes.
was the problem.
So yes, when you look at the one that says Miss Lisa and it says Harwich, if you look at the reading at the bottom, it says 1365 Rodman Street. It does not.
Mine says 554 Main Street,
Can I pull it
Harwich.
up? Can I pull it up right quick? Hold on
Yeah,
a
and I
second.
can, this is what I,
I'm not saying that you're incorrect, but I just want to show you what I'm saying.
and it had 24 fantastic reviews, all from Harwich residents.
No way.
Yeah,
24 reviews from Harwich residents? No way.
that's what it has online, so.
No, yeah, that's not from Harwich residents.
I would,
no way.
Can you get this removed from all of the platforms?
Yes, we can get that corrected, but I'm trying to, let me also show you guys that, hold on one second, it's coming up. All right, so. All right, so the first one that comes up, it says Miss Lisa's Home, Harwich Port, menu prices, restaurant reviews, right? If you look at it, it says Miss Lisa's underneath. It says Miss Lisa's New Orleans Cuisine on the corner of Brayton Ave and Rodman Street, 5 minutes from the Tiverton Casino, 1356 Rodman Street.
So that doesn't show up on the desktop version.
Okay, all right, but can I just show you? I don't want to, because I just want you guys to see that I'm being honest. So it says Harwich Port and all of that in there?
That's the Facebook page.
Yes, but.
So on these platforms, you can still order it for Harwich. So
But
I
this-
actually I typed it in for Town Hall and it was gonna let me do the order. We started it.
Yeah, but you have to accept the order. So when I move from Fall River, all of our information from Fall River is moved back here. We're moving the restaurant to Providence.
Okay.
So the orders could come in, but I have to literally accept the order. You know what I mean? Like you could put in an order.
So can you
but I
get them
have to-
off for Harwich?
Yes. So you would have to literally, I would have to literally accept the orders, you know what I mean, for the order to come through. So I don't know how, and that's what I was telling that other guy that came over for the order.
Wait, your phone.
So basically, I'm not selling plates at my house. I did before, in the beginning, but I built up my name and, like, I have a real restaurant. Like, we're not, you know what I mean? And we're not trying to put our license on the line and stuff like that to sell a couple of plates in Harwich when I know I'm gonna make hundreds of thousands of dollars in the city and stuff, so. So yes, whatever I need to do to get that corrected, I'll make sure I take care of that for you guys.
So,
I think, Sharon trying to ask a question?
Sharon?
No, I have no question, no question. I'm assuming that what he's saying is that the food is not being made and sent from that address.
Anymore.
No, ma'am.
But it was at one
Anymore.
point.
Yeah, we did. It was at one point. I was doing some things. I did a few funerals, some friends, and a couple of people outside of that. But no, I'm not. We're licensed now. We moved on to bigger things.
No longer.
And then you will,
Yeah, no longer.
you will see
No.
that it gets off of the internet sites.
Yeah, so I'll get that corrected. We actually we have radio ads that's going to be coming up next month through Fund 107. And also, when they put up the website, they put 554 Main Street also because they looked through Google first when they were building the page. So I'll make sure that I take care of all of that and get that corrected. So.
As long as that's all going to get corrected, congratulations on opening up a new successful business.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
And touch base with us if you want to do one in Harwich, but talk to us first.
I'm really trying. I'm trying to find a place, but it's expensive. It's hard to really do it out here. But the deal that we do have right now is it's all takeout and delivery. It's a small investment. At the end of the lease, we get that investment back. The building comes with employees, so I don't have to worry about employees. No insurance this time, so I don't have to worry about that. It's something it's a good deal. It's cloud kitchens. It's something that's new. It's almost like a apartment complex, but with kitchens. And I really was thinking twice about it. I didn't know if I really wanted to
Is it a
do it at
ghost
first.
kitchen?
Yeah,
Ghost
it's a ghost kitchen. For Chick-fil-A's my neighbor. They're kitchen number 10 and I'm number 11, yeah. So, but it's a real good investment and stuff. So right now, I'm driving from here to there, 6 days a week doing that. But I believe in it, and that's what I want to do. So,
Congratulations.
but no, I'm not, we're not doing it out there anymore. So I'll make sure we take care of everything.
Where's
So-
your residence?
554 Main Street. So I live on top of the Mad Minnow
Okay.
and Three Monkeys and stuff. So, but yeah,
So
that's.
you gotta commute?
Yeah, I commute right now, but we're looking at a house. We're looking at a home in Somerset, and we're also looking at a home in Wareham. So we're probably going to be here for like another month or so, and then move closer to the kitchen. So.
Sounds good. So how would we,
We don't need to take any,
I would maybe give a set date just to get them removed from the website, just to
all right?
Get the correction.
get the
things.
corrections
Yeah. Okay.
done.
how long would it take you to do that?
I don't know how I would go about with Google. I know that I could, like, my Facebook page, I could like make adjustments on that, and I think from that it's connected to Google. The radio ads, they're building our website, so that's just them correcting, going into the website and correcting the address.
And I think
That's
Postmates and DoorDash, you'll just have to contact them and
Yeah,
have
and let them know about it
fix
and
it.
everything, so, so whatever I have to do, I'll make sure.
Say like 30 days to
I
get it
think
off the
That's fine.
the DoorDash? Is
That's
that what-
100% fine, yeah.
I make a motion to give you 30 days in order to get the Harwich port address and taken off the websites. And again, congratulations.
Okay, thank you guys so much.
Yes.
Well-
We'll just need a second.
Second?
Need a second motion.
And then roll call.
Okay, Sharon, are you in agreement with the motion?
Agreement. Sharon Flieger in agreement.
Kevin Dupont, in agreement?
Cap Howell in agreement?
Rhonda Gallo in agreement?
All right, good luck.
All right, thank you
Thanks
so
for being
much.
patient
All right.
tonight.
Yes,
No
thank
problem,
you.
no
It's a
problem.
long meeting, sorry.
But I have to look you up next time I'm in Providence.
And if you have a hard time getting them taken off the website, just work with
I'll
us.
let you guys know.
Just let us know.
Yeah, I'm like 2 minutes up the road, so I have no problem with letting you guys know.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
What happened to D?
That's next. I think they're online.
Oh.
So if you want to open it.
Okay. You want to open a hearing?
Yeah. First you read it, then I will.
Show cause hearing, Buca's Tuscan Roadhouse -4 Depot Road. Failure to comply with Health Department request for an updated seating plan.
I'm going to open the meeting.
Martin, is that you or you caller for? Do we have anyone online for Buca's? So, basically, just a little bit of the history. When inspectors go out to do the restaurant inspections, they always count the seats to verify that it's matching the septic. This year, unfortunately, almost every restaurant has been in violation. So we've been working with all the restaurants to come back into compliance. Unfortunately, Buca's has not come into compliance. I know they've discussed maybe applying for a flex seating plan, but they haven't done that yet. So really, I would recommend that they submit a written seating chart no later than September 27th, 2022, showing the correct number of seats. If a seating chart is not provided and it's not accurate when staff go out to actually perform the verification inspection, then I recommend that they be called before the Board of Health for a potential revocation of their food service permit, which is option 2 below. They have been responding to inspectors, but they have not gotten the seat chart to a number that matches their septic capacity.
So it's option 2.
Option 2 would be my recommendation.
Do I hear a motion?
I have a question. This is Sharon Flieger. If by September 27th, they have not provided us with this information, and we call them back, for another hearing, then what happens if they don't reply to that?
Then you
What's
can
our
s-
next step?
You would start the revocation process.
Okay, all right. Will they get a letter, will they get a letter to that, you know,
Could
that-
someone just come on from the restaurant? Martin, is that you? Can you unmute them?
I can't unmute callers.
Someone just came on and muted themselves. Will they unmute and identify who they are? Whoever's on the phone, will you unmute? Star 3. Try star 6.
Can anybody, okay, that star 6 was it. Can anybody hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I've been trying, since you started, but obviously I'm at the restaurant working, so I was told to tell you from, hold on, Jennifer Singleton, that it's been rectified properly. It's been rectified, and she just said to let the board know. I did submit a seating chart, and it falls within their guidelines. And she just said, just call and let the board know when you get called upon.
I have no knowledge of that. That is our inspector. I had talked to her this afternoon in our last conversation. We had not, but we can certainly, you can still make the motion, and if they have, then they'd already be in compliance, and we wouldn't need to do anything.
No, but who's on the phone?
Yeah, so I brought down, and I am applying for a, she said to let you know to have a seat change up. I guess I have to apply. She sent me all the information.
And just for the record, will you identify your full name, please?
My full name is Martin Sotomayor,
Thank you.
and the two that normally would be doing this would be Bob and Lisa Chiappetta, but they've been out of the country for a couple of weeks now. They won't be back until October 8th. But I will be submitting the proper step. I'll be doing the proper steps to bring forth more seating. I guess I have to apply for it. She did get a seating chart, and she said to just let the board know.
So I'll check tomorrow with her. Either way, you can make that same motion.
Okay.
And if that's correct, and if it's correct, then it doesn't, you know, they'll be considered in compliance. And if the chart doesn't match for whatever reason, then they wouldn't need to be, and we'd reach out to them.
When's the last time the inspector was there?
August 8th.
It was August 8th.
Am I correct, Martin, in understanding that you're asking to reapply for more than the 45 seats allowed?
Not this meeting, so we can't discuss that.
I'm looking to apply for a flex seating. So what's not understanding when I put forth this seating chart, she didn't realize that some tables might be 2 and some tables might be 4.
Sorry, Martin, we can't
And
talk
what
about
you
that
were
right now.
stating-
That will have to wait till the next meeting. That will have to be the
Okay.
discussion at your flex seating.
Yeah, so she told me that I had to apply for the flex seating, but it doesn't mean that that's what they're gonna be, but she stated that as long as there's seats there. I said, I can't take away a bench seating. I said, it's a bench, and it fits 2 people or it fits 4 people. I put on my seating chart 2 to 4. And, you know, but I minused out the things I needed to do, and she said I fit within the guidelines. She said to let the board know, and I'm applying for flex seating, and that will be at the next meeting. I have to have it in before October 5th.
So the last email that I have says, if you could please call in on their behalf to assure that the matter is rectified properly with the board.
Yeah, the last emails we have, the seating plan doesn't show only 45, that's my understanding. We'll double check tomorrow with Jen.
Yeah, well, this is late in the evening. If you'd like me to send you the email, I can do that at this time, but I spoke with her for sure, so you can definitely talk to her tomorrow morning.
Okay, and if she says that you're not showing the 45, then you'll have to give us something showing that by
Correct.
September. Okay.
I showed her the 45, so she just said to let the board know. That's all she said to me.
Okay,
I have the email and I take it, so.
okay, we'll check tomorrow.
Okay, well, I thank everybody. Sorry to take up your time.
Thank you.
You're
do I hear a
welcome.
motion?
Motion to move to approve the recommendation of the health director and require that Buca's Restaurant submit a written seating chart no later than September 27th, 2022. If a seating chart is not provided and is not accurate when health department staff perform a verification inspection, then again, they will be called before the Board of Health for potential revocation of food service permit.
I'll second that. Anton.
Okay, no more questions from the board? Okay. Sharon, are you in agreement with the motion?
Sharon Flieger's in agreement.
Kevin Dupont, in agreement?
Anton in agreement.
Sam Howell in agreement?
Roger Gallo in agreement?
Unanimous. Okay, thank you.
We'll touch base tomorrow, Martin. Okay. Want to go back to minutes?
Let's review the minutes from the previous meeting on August 19th. Any, any corrections or deletions or additions?
Kevin Dupont, I got no corrections.
Okay, do I hear a motion to accept August 19th meeting minutes?
I'll make a motion to accept August 19th meeting minutes. Anton.
Second?
Kevin Dupont, I second that motion.
Okay, Sharon, are you in agreement?
Sharon Flieger's in agreement.
Kevin Dupont, in agreement?
John Patton?
Anton in agreement.
Sam Howell in agreement?
Roger
Well,
Gallo
no, I'm not in agreement because I wasn't here.
Abstain.
And the doctor agreed.
Yes.
Okay. Board of Health, work session by the director.
All right, so for COVID update, I provided a few notifications from the state in there regarding the bivalent booster. The monovalent vaccine is no longer authorized to be used as a booster. We will be hosting a flu clinic / bivalent booster COVID shot October 4th and October 11th. Sign up can be done online. We still have plenty of appointments. We're partnering with the VNA. And we also have been provided more take-home rapid tests for distribution. So they actually just came in today. We have to go through a stickering process because the expiration dates have been pushed out. So once those are all stickered, we'll put them back in community center, library, public safety, and outside our office here. That's my COVID update.
Okay. So,
Want me to go to my health
yes,
director's report?
report, please.
So like I said, we have the flu and COVID booster clinic coming up that people can register on color. We're continuing to monitor monkeypox situations. I don't have any update on that end. I started to provide a list of the work that we've done, so you can kind of get an idea of what we do as part of our daily routine for between inspections and permit review. And this is only about half the month. We started in the middle. Along in the update, I included a few updates just on the Department of Public Health, mandate investigations. I included a monkeypox update from the state and a few other notifications, just FYI, from the state that you may want to read as well.
Okay.
Hi, this is Sharon Flieger. Can I make a comment?
Sure.
One, I really appreciated that, and I think that's gonna go a long way in allowing the people in the town just to see all the things that the Board of Health does do. Because I've had some questions like, well, what do you do? And I really think that this is important to have. I know it's probably a lot of work to put it together, but I really think it's a great idea, so I appreciate that. Then there's one other comment, and I'm going to ask you, Katie, can I make a comment about the polio vaccine of what I found out?
Sure.
Okay, I have not been vaccinated, and both the CDC and the state are saying that adults that have not been vaccinated or were incompletely vaccinated or they didn't know if they were vaccinated probably should be vaccinated. I did call the Massachusetts State Department of Health. She agreed, and she said that was right before they updated their website, but she didn't know where to get it. So I've been calling all over and then found on the website where Cape Cod Hospital said we have, and their pharmacy has all the vaccines. So I called them. And yes, I can get my polio vaccine at the Cape Cod pharmacy, Cape Cod Hospital pharmacy. So for anyone else out there that may be concerned about that hasn't been vaccinated or is in question, that is a place that it can be gotten.
Thank you.
Good to know.
Good information. I didn't even know that.
Under correspondences, we received a memo from Cape Cod Commission regarding a mining operation. There's nothing, no action needed on the board, it's just an FYI. We've issued 2 violation notices for tobacco, which we included copies of, and we also included a copy of the flyer for the COVID and booster clinic that I had mentioned earlier, which has the login information, the sign-up information.
They send $1,000 in?
I'm sorry?
Wasn't there $1,000
For what?
for the violation?
They were both $1,000, yes.
They sent them in?
No, I believe they're probably both going to appeal, which we deal with in court, but we haven't heard for sure yet.
Do they have any, how much time do they have for that?
I think they're coming up on the time. There's usually a delay from the point that we hear that they've definitively appealed. We have heard unofficially that they have, but we haven't received the official court notification yet.
Okay, permit?
The only, I don't think we have any, there was only one, there was a Title V inspector was new, and he passed his test already. Everyone else was a renewal.
Do I hear a motion to accept the permits?
Make a motion to accept the permits.
Second?
Brian
Kevin.
Gallo? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, all right. Kevin Dupont, I second that motion
Sure.
to accept the permits.
Okay, roll call. Sharon, are you in agreement?
In agreement, Sharon Flieger in agreement.
Kevin Dupont, in agreement?
Own in agreement?
Pam Howell in agreement?
Rhonda Gallo,
Okay, we got that down pat now, guys.
I guess so.
Okay, anything else? I hear a motion to adjourn.
Kevin Dupont, motion to adjourn?
I'll second that. Manito.
Do I have to go through roll call again?
You do.
Okay, Sharon, are you in agreement?
Yes, Sharon Flieger in agreement.
Kevin Dupont, in agreement.
In agreement.
Pam Howell in agreement.
Rhonda Gallo in agreement.
That was a long one.
A long
Good
vote.
job, guys.
Good, thanks.